Hello, hello, my wild friends. If you have seen my channel before, welcome back. I'm excited to speak with you again, to read for you again, to channel for you again, and connect. If you're new here, still excited for all of that, and welcome. Again, if you haven't been here before, my name is Deanna Rose. I am a lot of things. To start with, I am, to put it shortly and to save time, I am just your neighbor. Nope, that's not what I meant to say. I am just your friendly neighborhood witch and indigo. There we go. We can do this here. So yeah, what are we talking about today? We are doing a reading for the Virgo season, which I'm very excited about. I have tarot cards for you today. I have some more oracle cards for you, just like we did last season for Leo season. I'm going to be using something a little bit different with the Magic the Gathering cards as my oracle cards, which I'm really excited about. I really love doing them for the last reading, so we're going to keep the ball rolling with that. Also, same as last reading. If you haven't seen the Leo reading, go ahead and check that out in the other videos. Doesn't matter if that Leo season is over. Just like how this Virgo season reading will be, it's not really even necessary for it to be Virgo season or that particular zodiac sign season. This is a timeless reading for the collective, meaning this reading is really just for the energy of specifically Virgo. That's what we'll be talking about today. So again, timeless reading for the collective. So take what resonates with you and forget the rest. What doesn't fit for you doesn't fit, and no harm done. So I think we'll just jump right into it and talk about Virgo, the Virgo energy. So starting with the element of Virgo, it is a earth sign. Earth sign, it is the middle sign, the second sign of the three. We have Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. I'm gonna put this back. So it's mutable, which means it is the more adaptive and flexible of the three signs. In my humble opinion, maybe everyone won't agree with this, but I like to compare the different signs with their element to that type of element, I would say. So I would call Virgo kind of like a farmland kind of earth, especially because honestly it's right there in the correspondences. Virgo really represents agriculture as well as wheat. And agriculture we know is more like farming, the utilization, the applying mind to the earth. And really it's kind of like the mind and the rhythm of the earth that goes hand in hand with Virgo. And so farmland being that the earth has been analyzed in a way, it's been observed, it's been picked and prodded a little bit just to see what it could yield. And again, this is just my opinion. So, if you think Virgo might be represented by another type of earth, please tell me in the comments. Just as I would say, honestly, I'm going to go in order here with the earth signs. Taurus, I would consider more like a tundra. Honestly, it has its own specific idea of life and how it should be. It's a pretty inflexible type of earth, being tundras. They're frozen, they're cold. It's pretty unyielding, especially compared to Virgo, which is the mutable sign, because Taurus is the fixed sign, it's more stubborn. And then Virgo being the farmland, like I just said. And I would call Capricorn, as it's the oldest one, it's a little bit more action-oriented. I would call Capricorn almost like a rainforest. There's a lot going on, but it's all in its very own ecosystem, very meticulous ecosystem, which is, in my opinion, what Capricorn is very much like. But we are talking about Virgo today. So yeah, mutable earth sign. It is a feminine energy, just like the rest of the earth signs. Feminine energy. The ruling planet is Mercury, so a lot of communication there. The symbol is the Virgin or the Maiden, if that sits better with you. And really, that symbol kind of talks about high standards of living or of doing things. Represents a purity or an innocence, almost like a privacy air, if you will, and a little bit of an aloofness. The tarot card that represents Virgo is the Hermit. They tend to be very independent, very reflective. And the phrase is, along with that reflection, the phrase of or mantra for Virgo is I analyze. The ruling house is the 6th house, which rules over health and routines. Stones, just a few of the stones for Virgo is amethyst, unakite, I think is the way you would pronounce it, sapphire, jade, also. Colors for Virgo would be grays, purples, beiges, and more lighter blues. The type of magic that I could see if you have a lot of Virgo in your birth chart, or if you're kind of just trying to tap into more of that Virgo energy, the types of magic that you could practice would be green magic or any kind of elemental magic, preferably earth magic, which is very, very similar to green magic. But really any kind of elemental magic would do, or all of the elements, because Virgos tend to be very hands-on for earth signs. So really all the tangible elements that we could see, fire, earth, air, and water, it's going to be right up that Virgo's alley, or that Virgo energy's alley, I should say. Kitchen and hearth magic for sure. Again, rules all about health and what you ingest, and obviously digest as well, which I'll get to in a moment, honestly, actually. Ceremonial magic. Ceremonial magic, because it's very careful, it's very planned. Even though a lot of times ceremonial magic can be traditionally done in a group, possibly even like a coven kind of setting. That's not 100% necessary if you do practice any sort of magic or anything like that. You don't have to just go out and join a coven because you want to tap into that Virgo energy. You can plan your own spells out, kind of thing, your own practice, and be just very meticulous about preparation and how things are done in a certain way. That's a type of ceremonial magic, which would greatly tap into that Virgo energy for you. And really any kind of practical magic that you can kind of apply to your daily or any kind of routine, really. Because again, being ruled by the 6th house, which is routine, anything you can kind of insert into your day or week kind of thing, kind of schedule, would be a great way to tap into that Virgo-ness. What else do I have here on my notes? So, yeah, so, that's what I was going to talk about. I knew I was forgetting something. The body parts that Virgo rules over is the nervous system as well as the intestines. I don't remember, I think it's the smaller intestines. Either way, it goes back to that analytical side of Virgo with the intestines, because, the intestines figure out what we ingest, what's worth keeping for our body to use as energy, and what is worth getting rid of, if you catch my drift. Not trying to get too vulgar, but also trying to be real here. What passes through the intestines exits our body and we don't need it. And that Virgo energy will know how to pick and choose what we take in is going to stay and be utilized, and what we take in can just be done with and dealt away with, really. So a more unevolved Virgo, or that unevolved Virgo energy, the low vibrational energy, shadow side of that Virgo energy, whatever resonates with you, they can be quite petty, an arrogance also, kind of a holier than thou kind of thing. If you think back to the virgin, the maiden, kind of ties in with that. Perfectionism. In my experience, Virgos tend to be the perfectionists of the whole zodiac, and they can just be perfectionists to a fault, where they're just so hypercritical, way too overthinking that they can be paralyzed, honestly, and not doing. They get very stagnant, and with all the other, along with the other earth signs, that stagnant energy can be a detriment to them as well. Very judgmental and anxious, too rigid, where there's no spontaneity with a Virgo that's vibrating at a low frequency. Insecurities and guarded and very high strung and can be kind of the downfalls of this Virgo energy. That if you're trying to utilize that, or if you have a lot of Virgo in your chart, you just want to watch out for. And we're all guilty of being at low and, operating at low vibrations. So if you resonate with these qualities, obviously there's no shame at all. There's really no shame to it. You have to have your low vibrations, your high vibrations. That's kind of just how life goes. You're never going to be fully high vibrations all the time. And that's not what we're trying to say here. But having the knowledge and being prepared for the low vibrational times when maybe these traits might come up and you're dealing with them, having the awareness of them is, in my opinion, half the battle, half the journey, I would say. Not even a battle, it's the journey. As low vibrations, shadow sides are always going to be there. And there's nothing wrong with that. We just want to, again, have that awareness piece with us so we can acknowledge them and address them and move forward. Speaking of moving forward, the high vibrational traits with Virgo, or the more evolved side of Virgo, there's a pragmatism, a very logical and realistic side to it, conscientious and organized, analytical. It's very much Virgos, and really just like the best at acquiring knowledge and analyzing it and then applying it. And just what a Virgo can do, what Virgo energy can do with information is in one of their superpowers, honestly. And because they take in so much information, and also because they're so grounded with all that information, they can really give great advice. They're amazing advisors, honestly. If you have a friend who's a Virgo, has a lot of Virgo in their chart, go to them when you have a problem. Honestly, it will probably be worth your while, worth the energy. They're very detail oriented and they're very reliable. And again, we talked about that reflective side to them. They don't only just acquire the information, they try to figure out how it can be applied to them, like the mind, the body, or their outward experience. And being the mutable sign, they're very well adjusted. We talked about the adaptability of Virgos. As again, digesting information, bringing in information, and they're adjusting to it. And that's why I even compare them to the farmland, because you have to take in the knowledge of that land, that piece of earth, and adjust to it, adjust to the seasons to yield the best crops, or to take care of your crops, or whatever is growing on in that piece of earth, whether they're animals, livestock, that sort of thing. you know, honestly, anything can be applied. Anything can grow at a farm. They also tend to be quite modest. They're a little bit more on... A lot of times Virgos, that Virgo energy can kind of not mind being in the background a little bit. And they're a little bit more modest, subtle. There's a subtlety to Virgo energy. And I think, again, that ties back in with the maiden, the virgin symbol of them as well. So, let's see. Do I want to do the reading or do I want to go into the rituals that we can do? I'll just do the rituals. No, sorry, I had to listen to source for that one real quick. I'm going to take a sip of water and we're going to get into this reading. I swear I don't even talk that long and yet my throat is like, hey, what are you doing? We don't work this hard normally. Okay, let's get to the reading. I have pre-shuffled I have some pre-shuffled cards here, and then we'll do just a couple of the oracle cards as well, and then we'll roll the die and see what that has to tell us for what house we can kind of focus on, maybe tie in all this together. So, all right, first card is 3 of Cups reversed. Second card, 2 of Swords. And make sure you're going to be able to see all this. Might need to do some rearranging here, but we'll do that in a second. We have the 9 of Cups. And when I was shuffling, 2 cards came out for this next spot, so I pulled both of them, which was the Queen of Wands and the Knave. And then finally we have the 7 of Cups in reverse. So let me make sure this is all kind of, you can see this. Do I like that layout? Yeah, I think we're gonna be pretty happy with this going forward. All right, so So beginning with the 3 of Cups here, in reverse especially, I don't think you're going to want to push yourself in unhealthy ways this Virgo season. And I think with that, you're going to be very honest with how you feel about certain things, about certain people, certain situations. There's going to be a lot of thought and processing throughout this Virgo season, which, if you've been listening at all, is kind of how Virgos kind of roll. So yeah, so I think you're going to be doing a lot of thinking about your current situations, whether it's your social situations, whether it's your professional situation, your living situation, personal situation with the self, how you treat yourself, how you treat others, or how others treat you. I think that's going to be a pretty overall theme this Virgo season. Yeah, because there's just too much of an exchanging of energy going on. Too much energy is being used in a certain way right now. And I think you need to kind of pull back and think about how you're feeling. You know, apply the analytical side with the emotions is what I'm hearing for this Virgo season. Yeah, because I'm just feeling like there's just a lot of energy being used in unnecessary ways, and it's being drained. And like you can see, like the cups being upside down. You turn a cup upside down, everything that's in it is gonna fall out, and it's gonna be an empty cup. And you don't want that. You want your cup full. And with the Two of Swords here, I think because of the Three of Cups coming in, you're going to be doing a lot of decision making. You might be doing some hard decisions this Virgo season, actually. And that's because you're doing so much analyzing with what's been draining you, with where you've been putting too much of your energy or unnecessary energy lately, or maybe for a long time, depending on your situations. I think you're gonna have to really kind of sit down with yourself and be honest with yourself and make some choices. Like maybe who do you need to cut out of your life? What do you need to cut out of your life? What do you need to introduce into your life? Maybe you need to cut out some friends or some people you think might be friends. Maybe you gotta get more in touch with maybe people you haven't talked to in a while, or maybe you need to spend time by yourself. It's really dependent on you and you thinking about this and being honest with yourself. It's funny, you don't have any major arcana in this reading, but you have all the suits. You have cups, swords, wands, and pentacles. So I think there's going to be a need to round yourself out this Virgo season. Oh, which I don't know if I mentioned. Virgo season, the dates start August 23rd. Is that correct? Yeah, August 23rd to September 22nd. I didn't mention that, which is an important part to mention, but as we will continue, imperfection is perfection nonetheless. So we're going to keep on going. So during this phase, August 23rd to September 22nd, yeah, you're going to do a lot of thinking. You're going to do a lot of thinking, a lot of analyzing. Because with this Knight of Cups coming up, and with this Knight of Cups we have here, I think because of all the thinking you're going to be doing, we're all going to be doing this Virgo season, we really want to just trust the process and make sure that we're expressing ourselves, whether, it's to ourselves, to another person or a situation, whatever the case may be for you. You want to make sure you're expressing yourself with compassion. And Virgo energy is a lot about getting both clear and creative. So I think it's kind of what this Knight of Cups is really telling us. To trust the kind of ups and downs with the season and to get clear and creative, but with compassion. You can remember that almost by like the 3 C's, I feel like. You can get, clear, creative, compassionate. That's really a good way to get through this season, because there are going to be, I don't want to say hard choices, but with these two, with the three of Cups and Two of Swords going on, and especially because, we had a 3 and then we had a 2, it's almost like a regression. Not so much where you're going to fall back in any way, but that's the reflection. You're going to reflect on a lot of things. And so a lot of things are going to come to light. And you need to address and acknowledge those with that compassion. You need, maybe, again, think outside the box when it comes to addressing these things that are draining you, that the Three of Cups is suggesting here. Get creative in your decision making. Don't just go with what you think will fit the situation. Go with what your emotions, what your gut is truly telling you. And trust yourself. Trust yourself and be compassionate towards yourself too. And I think, because if you have a lot of Virgo in your chart, you probably understand this. it's really, like I said, Virgos tend to be the perfectionists of the zodiacs, of all the zodiac signs. So they can get caught up in what they're perceiving as imperfect. They can get way too bogged down by the details where they just become stagnant. And you don't want that. That's what the Two of Swords is really warning us. Like, we don't want to get stagnant because there is the potential for that. And, you know, it's okay to move slowly. But I think that's where the honesty comes in here. You want to be honest with yourself. Where are you keeping yourself stagnant, or are you just mulling things over? Are you really putting that thought? Are you really reflecting truly on things? Are you just holding yourself back from making these choices that could rock the boat, possibly? You don't want to be afraid to rock the boat here, which Virgos, if you have a lot of Virgo in your chart, or that Virgo energy coming into your experience, might want to fight a little bit, you know, rocking the boat. But you can't be afraid to. If your cup's already knocked over, that boat's already rolled over. So you want to roll that boat back over. Yeah. And so you want to right your own ship. Don't worry about other people's ships. Don't worry about any other ships of situations. But you want to right I almost said shit. You want to right your ship, which you could say shit also. Can't be afraid to curse sometimes. I am a cursor in a lot of ways. Anyway, I digress. But to kind of counteract that perfectionism that can kind of run rampant this season, that's where we have the Knave of Wands / Page of Wands and the Queen of Wands here. So really we have a progression here, you know, knaves to queen, and you just, the Knave of Wands just really wants us to be present, be in the moment, even if something, like, things are going to happen either way, so just be present during this whole process. And if you're present, then, you know, perfection doesn't exist. So you might as well not even think about it. And you might as well just keep moving forward, be in the moment and enjoy the moment. You know, if something's draining your energy, you want to talk to yourself. And that doesn't have to be a scary thing. You can enjoy that. You can enjoy getting to know yourself, what your needs are, what your emotional needs are. And I think that's what the Knave of Wands is here to tell us. And just like how the Knight of Cups is telling us to go with compassion, Queen of Wands is confident in everything she does. Like, look at her face. Look at that face. That's a confident face. That is a face where I'm like, hey, I know what I'm doing. Back off me if you think otherwise. And I think these two together is, you know, enjoy the moment, be present. They're both looking in the same direction. So I think, you know, you getting to know yourself, getting to know your needs or your situation and what it calls for, that's going to give you direction. And you can take that, enjoy the moment with it, and go with confidence. And I think that's how you can kind of combat that that need for perfection, and knowing that imperfection is perfectly okay. I know my teacher, I know this is a common saying, I'm not saying my own teacher coined this, but you know, you can just tell yourself you are perfectly imperfect, and that mantra has gotten me through some difficult times. And when it comes to decision making, you don't have to make the perfect decision, you just have to make the decision that's right for you. So with compassion and confidence and presence, you're gonna be just fine. That's gonna put you in the right direction. Yeah. Let's see here. Anything? What else? And naturally, being an earth sign, we have the Pentacles here. This is First Pentacles. This is the last card, last tarot card we have, which is the Seven of Coins in reverse. And in reverse, this really talks about waste. This talks about disorganization, kind of the exact opposite of Virgo energy. So you want to just be on the lookout for that. Be on the lookout for yourself getting impatient with yourself or with other people. Be on the lookout for not knowing, like how we talked about with the intestines ruling Virgo, or Virgo ruling the intestines. Don't be afraid to get into the nitty-gritty details, as long as it'll help you move forward. As long as it'll help you see clearly and maybe even creatively what you can do away with. That's basically the what's going on here. You're figuring out what you can do away with. You're figuring out what you don't need anymore. And you're gonna make some decisions, you make some difficult decisions possibly, but as long as you go with compassion, as long as you go with confidence and honesty and presence with yourself, then you're gonna figure this stuff out no problem. That's exactly what this is all telling us. Yeah. It may not just be this season, it may not just take, from the whole Virgo season, might not be August 23rd, you're going to start reflecting maybe and see what's going on, and by September 22nd, you're going to know everything that doesn't serve you. Maybe not. This is always, life it's all about the journey, and as long as you have the compassion, the creativity, that adaptability of Virgos, that confidence in yourself, then it doesn't matter how long it takes, because you're going to be going in the right direction. You're going to be going in the right direction. I think that's good for now. Whew, that was not too heavy, but it was a lot. There's just going to be a lot of reflection going on. There's going to be a lot of thought going on this Virgo season. And that is not a bad thing at all. I'm going to these cards are a little funny. They're not facing the right way, which I want them to. Honestly, it doesn't matter. Okay, we're moving on to oracles real quick, just to get some advice from Mercury, which is the ruling planet of Virgo. Kind of just some advice on how to deal with all this, or just some advice going into Virgo season in general, is what we'll be talking about. And we're going to get another card about actually moving forward with Virgo season and with dealing with this ship, if you will. All right, let's do some advice from Mercury, please. Spirit. Ooh, that went flying out. Oh boy, all right. Advice from Mercury. Berserker's Frenzy. One more card about moving forward. It's Virgo season. Okay. And then we have Bag of Tricks, which is so cute. All right. So let's start with this. This card just kept popping out, so I'm going to take it, and also because I love this card, it's called the Command Tower. So I'm going to just take this, and I think it's just kind of going to be our... I'll get to that. Don't worry, I'll get to that. So let's do this. Let's do that. We'll do this. Okay. Berserker's Fury, an advice from Mercury. I think what this is telling us is that I think when you're in the thick of all of this, when you're in the thick of even Virgo season, I think you need to find your way of pushing through. Because again, cutting ties with people or situations, that can be difficult, especially if you're not used to doing that kind of stuff. That can be very difficult. And you can question yourself. I think with this really, I think, wants to be connected with the Queen of Wands energy, because with the Berserker's Frenzy, you have confidence to push through. You have confidence to do exactly what you need to do. So I think that's really the advice from Mercury, is to push through with confidence. When you kind of find yourself stuck, try to dig for your confidence, and that'll kind of get you through any kind of stagnant energy. Honestly, I just heard the phrase, be yourself and nothing will fail. So I think, again, with the reflection that's going to be needed for this Virgo season, and using that energy of the reflective nature of Virgo, is really going to help you. It's really going to help you get to know yourself and understand yourself this Virgo season, and to find that confidence. Because, you can't really be confident in yourself if you don't know yourself. If you don't know what to be confident in, then it's kind of hard to have confidence, obviously. So yeah, it's Berserker's friend to just push through, find your confidence, and kind of let that drive you when you feel stuck. Thank you, Mercury. And then finally, just overall moving forward, bag of tricks. And I think this kind of goes to show, just like how we talked about, don't be afraid to think outside the box, or in this case, bag, I don't know. Yeah, getting to know yourself and reflecting on yourself and figuring out what you need and what you don't need. I think you're going to be pulling out some tricks out of your bag and kind of moving through this kind of transitional phase of doing away with what's not needed, what doesn't serve you anymore. I think you're going to find your own tricks. And, it just makes you want to say turn some tricks, but don't do that in the traditional sense. Turn some metaphorical tricks, maybe. I don't know if that's, if hopefully you know what I mean. Like, don't be afraid to, again, just get creative with yourself and to be yourself. Do what works for you. Do exactly what works for you. Don't do what you think is right or what you think will get you to the next step. Just do what's right for you. And I think that's what this, the overall energy with this command tower is talking about. Because I think you need to just, get command of your own tower. I'm going to read the little quote that's on the bottom of this because I love it so much. It says, "Approach my tower on bended knee, or depart from it as ash upon the wind." Don't take any ship from anyone or from any self-limiting beliefs that you have. And I think if you just pull out some tricks for yourself, you can gain that confidence. I really think all of these is kind of talk about the confidence that's needed this Virgo season. As we said before, Virgos can tend to be a little insecure, and I think just you're going to need that confidence, and you're going to need that compassion for yourself to make these choices that are going to be coming up this season. Yeah. There's a lot of C's going on here. Like we said, clear, creative, compassionate, confidence. It's all about the C's. It's a C season. Is there anything else before I move on to the rituals for Virgo season? I just think you have more to offer than you realize with this bag of tricks. There's a lot of abundance that you might not be completely aware of or acknowledging. Okay, and we're just gonna roll the die here. to see what... Okay, so we've got the, can you see that? 12th house. Yeah, I think you can see that. So the 12th house is ruled by Pisces, which I think can really ties into what we've been talking about really well, because the 12th house ruled by Pisces, it really talks about solitude. It talks about kind of a transcendence, like almost like a leveling up, but that level up can't happen unless you reflect on the level you are now. And that's really what these cards are telling us to do. Reflect on the level you are now and to see what you can do away with. And that means pulling back a little bit. That means pulling back, maybe getting in some solitude, some alone time if you can, and analyze and look over, because the 12th house also even talks about like institutions that you belong to, which in my opinion can talk about social institutions or professional institutions, actual organizations that you belong to. So, and also self-sabotage is a big thing with the 12th house. So you also want to make sure that you're not standing in your own way, which I think comes in if you have the lack of confidence or that lack of compassion for yourself. So the 12th house coming up is actually, like I said, ties in really well with this overall message of just take some time out real quick this Virgo season and see what doesn't serve you, but then also push forward to make the ties or cut the ties that you have to and keep the ties that do serve you. This isn't just about completely doing away with everything. It also talks about holding on to what's actually precious to you, what actually works for you, what serves you, what you love. So, yeah, I love how well that tied in. And I mean, a big mantra saying for the 12th house is I dream, is Pisces, the house of Pisces. Pisces tend to be very dreamy, or the dreamiest and wisest, honestly, of the zodiacs. So dashing a little bit of Pisces energy over all of these and making your decisions and stuff like that, the Two of Swords is telling us to do, I think will help greatly in what's coming for us. Not for us, towards us. That sounded way too ominous when it came out of my mouth. Yeah, okay. Yeah, you just want to listen to yourself. Listen to your inner voice this Virgo season, and being honest, it just won't steer you wrong, really. So, let's see, we're going to move on to the kind of rituals and activities that you can do for this Virgo season to really tap into that energy. It'll be really good to do this kind of stuff, I think, while all of this is going on anyway, while you're kind of reflecting and considering and practicing compassion and confidence for yourself and being honest with what you can do away with. So, during this whole process, you can really start apply these rituals and see how well they help you. Classic earthy stuff. Honestly, you could, for Virgo season, you can buy or tend to a house plant if you already have one. You can start a garden, that kind of thing, if you're feeling ambitious. Getting out in nature, also obviously hiking or a nature walk or a bike ride, that sort of thing. Or honestly, if you can't really go out and do that, if you're maybe limited or whatever, you can just go out and ground. It doesn't even have to be either or, you can do both, obviously. But grounding is a perfect practice for Virgo season or any kind of earth season. You can just read, you can doesn't really matter what, you can just read novels if you enjoy novels, or anything really educational is really great. And I don't want to say ideal, but kind of ideal, just since Virgo season, Virgo energy is all about knowledge and that sort of stuff. But yeah, reading a good book, reading a lot during Virgo season is a great way to tap into that energy. Cleaning out and decluttering physical space. This is going to be a lot of decluttering inward, and decluttering kind of your outer experience can really help along that whole process anyway. Getting kind of organized outwardly also is a really great way to celebrate Virgo season. And doing any kind of like self-healing, or you can like book a Reiki session. Selfish plug, I should say. I do Reiki healings I do remote Reiki healings for clients. So, you could buy one of those and it'll be linked down below either way. I always link it. You can check that out. But yeah, like a Reiki session or any kind of self-healing spiritual practice that you already do or want to give a try, that'd be really great this Virgo season. You can cook with some really fresh food right now. I know farmers markets tend to be really popular. If you have access to a farmers market, that would be a great ritual for Virgo season. Or, cook with any kind of like good nutrient dense food, I would say, as fresh as you can get them would be ideal, would be perfect. Or you can develop or even reevaluate, if you already have them, any kind of daily routines. Again, we've talked about reflection and reflecting on yourself this entire reading, and doing that in your routines, as Virgo rules over routines and health even. Reevaluating them if you already have a set routine, or developing a routine, a daily routine, if you don't already have one, will be very beneficial, and again, a really great ritual to honor that Virgo energy. So, a lot of stuff going on here. You just gotta take a good deep breath, because there's a lot of inner and outer work to be done here. But I think we're all up for it, though. I know I am. I don't think these cards would have been pulled if the overall collective wasn't ready to, fill our cups back up, turn them back over, and allow them to get full again with the things that do serve us and the things that we love and enjoy. So, I think that is it. I think that is, yeah, that feels like a good stopping point. I really enjoyed reading for you all. If you guys have any comments or questions, leave them down in the comments below. Please like and subscribe to my channel. I hope you enjoy my readings as much as I enjoy giving them. If you haven't already, check out the rest of my channel. I do meditations that are really good for a lot of beginners, but also all levels, honestly, like guided meditations. I have a few even like short audio stories I created and recorded, and I have a couple other little cooking rituals that I've done, little kitchen witchery, if you will, and I have more videos to come. So I hope that you stick around, or continue to stick around if you already have. So I appreciate you either way. And anything else? Yeah, like, subscribe, comment, and join my email list. I'll be doing more in-depth meditation videos with little notes, and it's a nice way to develop or continue a meditation practice, spiritual practice, if you're interested in that. Yeah. Thank you for being here. Bye.